The following feature presentation is part of the Skywalking Network.
This is what you can look forward to on episode 530 of Skywalking Through Neverland.
Another Darth Vader emerges. Like,
amazing!
Oh, we must get him for our collection of Vaders.
Yeah. That's a nightmare I lived with for many years, because once you fall down, you don't get back up.
No!
All this started because you walked in there looking for a runner's job at Lucasfilm.
And I got the job, but this was a side benefit of the job.
So when they first told you about this, they, hey, Tom, we want you to go up to the carbon freezing chamber and fight a bunny.
Are you ready?
Off to Neverland.
Here we go.
A long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome. Disneyland is your land.
When I first made Star Wars, everybody in Hollywood said, well, this is a movie Disney should have made.
You're more than just fans. You're family.
Best day ever!
Secrets love.
It's about family, and that's what's so powerful about it.
Hey.
When you use a bird to write with, it's called tweeting.
When we visit the world of Disney, we never grow old. It's a Peter Pan, Never land that keeps us young in heart.
This is Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi, and you are skywalking through Neverland. I have a good feeling about this.
Hey, Skywalkers! Do you feel a tremor in the Force? If so, that might be because there was a long-lost Darth Vader, and we found him. Tom Bewley played the Dark Lord of the Sith in many appearances in the 90s, including one that has eluded me for almost 40 years. All those stories coming right up. But right now, we want to welcome you back to
Skywalking Through Neverland.
I am Richard Woloski, and now everyone please say hello to my sweetie wife Sarah, who's got a bunch of Imperials on her head.
In Elizabethan style. I love that.
Got a Disneyland headband with all these, what do you call these new, like these plush
the
headbands?
Headband character plush, maybe? Like the head plush? I don't know. So I have 2 Darth Vader heads and 2 Stormtrooper heads.
So for anyone not watching on YouTube, it's like these 3-dimensional, like
plush
2-inch
heads. Yeah, it's like the size of those new emos. Those new emos heads. Yeah. But it's like they've been taken off the body and just the head is available, and it has a little strap on the bottom that you wrap around the little headband that you have to buy, of course, separately. But once you have one headband, you can use it for all the characters.
And they are the big rage at Disneyland. See, everyone walking around, what I see most commonly are the inside-out characters.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, and those are so cute.
Yeah, and I believe we have an Ewok one as well that you wore not too long ago.
I have 2 Ewoks. The Ewoks are so cute.
Oh, no.
And we have Yoda and we have R2.
Now she's addicted.
Yeah.
They are very cute and very eye-catching.
Yeah. Skywalkers, we are your enthusiastic podcast destination for the many decades of your Star Wars, Disney, Marvel, pop culture, and Disney head plush fandom. So imagine a big Wookiee hug from us and a little sprinkle of pixie dust for your week for our very special family of Skywalkers.
All right, now we are being sponsored by Small World Vacations, and they are a diamond-level Disney vacation planner travel agency and can help you book your trip to a Disney park around the world, a Disney cruise, or like us, the Universal Studios theme parks. We're going to use their services in about 2 weeks when we go to Epic Universe over in Florida. Cannot wait to go there and cannot wait to use their services. Now, head over there to smallworldvacations.com for a no-obligation price quote and tell them Skywalking Through Neverland sent you.
Now, we are recording this episode from Long Beach, California on September 16th, 2025. So, very important question. Richard, what happened today in Star Wars history?
Well, on this date, September the 16th, 1977, 48 years ago, the making of Star Wars, as told by C-3PO and R2-D2, is broadcast on ABC in prime time.
Ooh.
This hour-long special is hosted by C-3PO, played by Anthony Daniels, and R2-D2. Now, this was a big month for Star Wars. September of 1977, huge month for Star Wars because we got Star Wars on Donnie and Marie. We got the Star Wars bar on the Richard Pryor show.
Oh.
A couple of those Saturday morning previews, and now the making of Star Wars.
Wow. Were
Now,
you going crazy?
I was going nuts because most of these behind-the-scenes specials, you'll have an actor on a sound stage or in a theater doing their wraparounds. But now you have R2 and 3PO recounting behind-the-scenes stories from a very futuristic Star Wars-y location, which was very smart of Charles Lippincott to do this, because it was like watching a new Star Wars. We didn't have to wait until The Empire Strikes Back in 3 years for new Star Wars. It was all right here, and having this new location felt like you were watching a new Star Wars story.
Now, at this point, did you know that there would be a Star Wars sequel in 1980?
You know what? This was 1977, so we wouldn't know until February of 1978.
Okay.
And I don't think even at that point, that's a good question, we even really thought about sequels.
Right.
We just thought about more.
Right.
So,
it's like, I just want to be in this world.
I want to be in this world,
Because-
and I want more.
Right. Because, I mean, Star Wars is all about the world building. I mean, that's why we are also fascinated with it. It built this world that you wanted to live in.
And now, here they were in this awesome set, which looked like it could have been taken from a Star Wars film. So we were getting more Star Wars. When we watched the Star Wars characters on Donnie Marie, no one mistook that for being Star Warsy.
Those cardboard sets.
Yeah, and dancing stormtroopers, and even Richard Pryor walking around his Star Wars bar. We knew that wasn't Star Wars, but this was actually Star Wars.
Right.
So yeah, mind blown. Now this was all part of Charles Lippincott's plan of keeping Star Wars in front of kids.
Right.
Because
so they could sell
3 years between films was a lifetime. So very, very, I would say, thinking way ahead of the times for marketing films.
Right. Well, he already, just to market Star Wars, he did something totally different, which was to start marketing it to the Comic-Cons, like all the cons, conventions where he knew his audience was. So not just your normal TV ads on TV. Yeah, you needed the groundswell of the geeks and nerds and all us awesome people.
Yeah, I mean, when you're going to talk about the Mount Rushmore of what and who made Star Wars, it's George Lucas, it's Gary Kurtz, and I think I would put Charles Lippincott up there.
Nice.
Because he made sure that everyone had Star Wars on the mind every single day.
Where will it all end? Perhaps, R2, it will never end.
All right, with that, now let's talk with Tom Bewley, the long-lost Darth Vader. We are very excited about this because, if I'm not mistaken, this is the very first interview he's ever done where he's told these stories of playing Darth Vader in commercials, live appearances, Celebration Zero.
Right.
Can you imagine how much my mind was just exploding in the inside of my head?
I mean, the fact that you VHS videotaped this, and then you were there, and then this is the Darth Vader, the man in that Darth Vader suit. Like, that's really neat.
And all this time, no one knew who played Darth Vader. It was Tom Bewley, and he's got so many stories. He was in Frank Oz's Indian in the Cupboard.
Loved his story about that.
We have lots of stories coming up.
And a huge, huge thank you to Skywalker Scott Carmichael for alerting us to his presence. Enjoy.
Just when we thought we found all the actors who've played Darth Vader, another one emerges. Tom Bewley was the first actor to portray the Dark Lord of the Sith on screen after Return of the Jedi. He appeared in the Frank Oz directed 1985 film, The Indian in the Cupboard.
Tom can also be seen as Darth Vader in several 90s commercials and in the George Lucas pre-show at Celebration Zero. And now he can be seen here on Skywalking Through Neverland.
Hey, Tom!
Hey, guys.
Thank you so much for taking the time and speaking with us. Like we said, another Darth Vader emerges. Like,
amazing!
Oh, we must get him for our collection of Vaders.
Yeah.
But let's start at the very, very beginning. You were working at Lucasfilm when you were cast as Darth Vader. Is that correct?
Yeah. I was working at the Egg Company, which was the Los Angeles version of Lucasfilm before George moved it up to San Anselmo.
The Egg Company that was right across the street from Universal Studios.
Right, yeah. Beautiful building. And in fact, I saw something online recently, a Tom Selleck audition for Raiders. And it was shot in that building because I recognized the interior of it.
So what year would this be that you were tapped for Darth Vader?
Like 78, 79, somewhere in that range.
Okay.
My roommate at the time was dating a girl who was a receptionist and said, hey, they're looking for runners. And he didn't want it. He's a writer. And so he sent me in. And it just so happened I interviewed with a guy named Casey Haddonfield. And KC is from Bloomington, Indiana, too, where I'm from. So he said, hire the guy right now. And they did. And KC and I have stayed friends all these years. He's AD on some of the biggest films, every Michael Bay show. Mm. He and Ian Bryce I worked with there at Lucasfilm, and still dear friends with both. But Anne-Marie Stein, who was in charge of PR, saw me one day, and I think there was some gig that they were trying to put together. I think, if I remember correctly, this is a long time ago, it was for Gary Kurtz I think it was a drag racing thing. I think Gary Kurtz was in the drag racing. And they said, here, go try on this costume and come back. So anyway, I tried it on and ended up doing the event. And it stuck in my head all these years that it was for jet dragsters. And they wanted Darth by the Christmas tree to start these jet dragsters. Have you ever seen a jet dragster? I mean,
no.
Jet engines on the back.
Like a pod racer.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And so I got out there and I started it, and the thing almost blew me over. I thought, the first gig I've ever done, and you go down on your back in that, you're like a turtle. You can't get back up. But anyway, everything went great. And I ended up going on from there. I worked there for a couple of years before he moved it up north. And when he moved it up north, I went back to IU.
That's Indiana University?
Yeah. And because I had taken a year off to go out there. And they said, here, take the costume with you. Oh. And you'll be our Darth Vader for the East Coast.
Oh.
Through my 4 years at IU, I actually had the original Empire costume in my dorm and 2 big anvil cases. I thought, God, if I just kept that, I could have been independently wealthy just from that.
Oh yeah, those suits are going up at auction a couple of times, and they're going for a lot of money.
Yeah, so I've been in this tiny little dorm room that's got mostly anvil cases in it, the original Darth Vader stuff, and I would go out maybe 2-3 times a month. I mean, they were doing a lot. This was during Empire, and a lot of stuff in New York City, a lot of shopping mall stuff. I remember we did the opening of Empire in New York, and they wanted Darth there, and I got to go to Tavern on the Green afterwards, and I sat with Mark Hamill, and it's great fun.
Wow!
So you were the Darth Vader on the East Coast, whereas Bryce Eller was the Darth Vader for the West Coast?
Yeah, I'm not sure if it was that planned out or not, but I think that's probably pretty close to correct.
Yeah, because, I lived in Boston, Massachusetts, and I went to go see Darth Vader at the Bradley's department store, and that was Bryce Eller in that costume. Yeah. So with all the Vader appearances, I'm sure they mixed and mingled you two. Did you run into Bryce Eller? Were you out on the road? Maybe they sent out accidentally 2 Darth Vaders to the same department store?
You've never seen each of us in the same place at the same time. But yeah, I think I've met him, but a long time ago.
So you started doing Darth Vader, you said, in about 1978?
Yeah.
How long did you play Darth Vader after that?
About 25 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
25 years.
I mean, there was times that we were busier than normal around the openings of a movie, but I did Japan, I did Argentina, I did...
These were all for the premieres for the films, mainly for
Japan
Empire.
was for a series of commercials that, I think it was Nintendo.
Oh, right. Yeah, there's a...
Not... it was maybe it's Panavision or something. They did a series at the ranch.
Panasonic, always new dreams, wonderful friends. Panasonic, いつも新しい夢、素晴らしい仲間。Panasonic.
And then they did a series at Kurosawa Studio in Tokyo.
Oh yeah, there's some famous pictures of George Lucas at the ranch with all the characters, including Peter Mayhew as Chewbacca.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was 89, 90.
Yeah, going to Japan was really fun. I've been there 3 times, I think, with Don Bees and Nelson Hall and Grant. God bless his soul.
Imahara?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all this started because you walked in there looking for a runner's job at Lucasfilm.
And I got the job, but this was a side benefit of the job.
Yeah, so how tall are you?
6'4".
Okay, perfect.
So you went from 0 to like 1 million during that first interview process.
We were talking about those commercials. I can't remember what the company was. I've got a photo of one of them. I don't know. You guys probably can't see the.
Sure.
No, it's hard to see back on the back wall.
Yeah, out in the field of Marin.
Yeah, that's the picture I was referring to, and they have all the characters out there.
Yeah, and they were doing some stuff at ILM, and I was just in the everything but the head, and David Prowse came in.
Oh
no! Oh, he's very possessive, very possessive.
We want to hear about this. What happened?
Yeah, that's kind of what I thought too, because he and George kind of had a falling out that they did. You know.
Yeah. David Prowse, do not reveal the secrets. Please keep it under your helmet.
I don't know the secrets other than the fact that him not doing it gave me a job. So, but it was pretty weird standing there in the leathers with him looking at me.
Why was David Prowse there?
I don't know. He was just visiting ILM that day.
Oh my!
Yeah, he heard about this Indiana boy who's now taking over the part of Darth Vader. Yeah, he's doing all the I see you. Yeah, don't walk away with that outfit.
Yeah, did you have any interaction with him at all at that point?
No, not really. George was there when we were doing this particular shot, so there wasn't a lot of interaction. No.
Okay, I just wondered about that.
Yeah.
The one appearance as Darth Vader I really want to get into the nitty-gritty is Celebration Zero, the 10th anniversary of the Star Wars convention. And for years, no one knew who was in that Vader suit. And now we find out it's you.
Like the movies, James Earl Jones was the whole effect. I mean, his voice is just amazing. But yeah, it was fun. It was backstage. We were getting ready. But I worked for a high school for the arts up in a small little town called Idlewild at that time. And we drove down for the gig at that hotel. I think it was, I can't remember.
The Stouffer Hotel in Los Angeles, right by the airport.
He was there. He took video of you.
And we're backstage, and it's kind of a wide open area. My wife is steaming the cape, and right next to us is George. And then I got very starstruck because Gene Roddenberry came over and started talking to him. And it was like, oh, man. And I said, Mary Lou, don't look now, but the Godfather's right next to us. I mean, it was very cool.
Wow.
But I got the dialogue ahead of time from a guy named Howard Rothman. I don't know if you remember that name.
Yeah, he's one of the vice presidents of Lucasfilm at the time.
Yeah, he and I worked together at the egg company for years. Memorized the lines so it looked like I knew what I was saying. Ran through the whole bit of dialogue and then introduced George, and that was fun.
Ladies and gentlemen, our evening's lessons here now.
Was there any rehearsals before you got to the Stouffer Hotel? No?
Oh, no.
So did you get a chance to rehearse on stage? Because I know they wanted to keep this very hush-hush. So
Yeah.
did they allow you to rehearse on that stage before you came out?
No.
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 Because it was when they brought Darth Vader out, it was pitch dark.
Yeah.
And I remember I was like in the 10th row, and when you heard that breathing and you saw the lights on Vader's chest, everyone went ballistic.
Yeah.
But now I'm looking at that video that I took, and it's like, having been in Vader suits myself, I'm thinking, how did Vader not fall down?
How did you not see?
That's a nightmare I lived with for many years, because once you fall down, you don't get back up.
No, and it's such a...
And I'll tell you, one of the scariest ones I ever did was at the Hollywood Bowl with John Williams.
Oh.
They just started doing the movie music, where they'd have a big screen and show the film while Maestro was conducting. They had set up the orchestra so there was a pathway in the middle, which is kind of unusual. That's usually not how orchestras are. And they wanted me to come down the middle of this through this like a laser tunnel effect. And I thought, oh my God, I'm really pushing my luck here because, all these people are, there's cases and bows and everything everywhere. But we got it done. We did Hollywood Bowl. That was great fun. And then went to Tanglewood after that, did the same thing at Tanglewood.
Oh, in Massachusetts.
And I think to this day, that's the largest crowd Tanglewood's ever had.
Wow.
Do you know what year this was? Was it Empire? Was it Star Wars days? Was it Return of the Jedi?
It was probably in between Empire and Return.
Okay. Did you ever meet John Williams face to face?
I did, yeah, a couple times. Yeah.
Oh, what was your impression of him? He's like my favorite person ever.
He's just an amazing, talented man, and just so humble and down to earth, and just very gracious. I have a picture I'll send you guys of myself grabbing him by the neck and doing. And after the Tanglewood thing, backstage, do you know the name Isaac Stern? Do you know that name?
That sounds familiar, but you have to remind us.
He was very famous violinist with Boston Symphony.
Okay.
And he's credited for really saving Carnegie Hall.
Mm.
Oh.
So he was backstage afterwards. And if you see pictures of him, he looks like Yoda. He's just a tiny little guy. And I have a picture of me grabbing his throat. And then after the gig was over, we were at the founder's home. And we were smoking cigars, looking over this lake. And he came up. And I got to spend half an hour talking baseball with him after he found out I was the guy in the costume. And it was one of those great moments of, that Darth has afforded me over the years.
Wow.
So do you get to appear on stage as John Williams is conducting the Imperial March?
Right, yeah.
What?
That's amazing. I know.
At that point, it's like, what else do I need in life?
The live ones are really scary because if something goes wrong, you can't change it. I think that's where my theater background has probably come in play a lot.
Oh, perfect.
So
record
have you ever
that.
seen any footage of this anywhere around?
I haven't. Neither one. I did see some from Tanglewood, but it wasn't the Imperial March. It was basically talking about how big the crowds were.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, every once in a while, some of this footage will surface. Someone will say, "Hey, what's on this VHS tape? Let me put it in. I'll upload it to YouTube. See what happens."
Yeah.
That one commercial I sent you guys, you could see how old it is. The NES commercial.
Oh yeah.
Yes, from 1991, the Nintendo NES commercial.
But you can see how old it is by the graphics on the computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember seeing the Chestnut Hill Cinema. They were playing a week of Star Wars, just Star Wars for 7 days for charity. And before the film, they ran that commercial, and I was so excited because it was new Star Wars up on the big screen.
Yeah, and I thought that was actually a pretty good commercial too.
Yeah, it was a great commercial. Yeah,
we shot that in Atlanta, believe it or not. I think because the director was there, but in a little house in the middle of this neighborhood.
Now, going back to the Star Wars 10th anniversary convention, can you tell us any more stories? Because I just love this time in fandom where everyone got together for the first time to really enjoy and celebrate Star Wars. And now here we are. We're seeing the real live Darth Vader on stage, the real live R2-D2 and C-3PO played by Anthony Daniels. It was right here on stage, and it was just so mind-numbing. Yeah. So anything you can tell us about that period, about that day, we would love to hear.
It's been a long time ago. Yeah, I'm lucky to remember last week, let alone how many years ago was that. I mean, the Roddenberry thing was probably the thing that stuck in my mind more than anything else over the years. And it was fun introducing George, you know.
Yeah.
Kind of getting to see him a little bit.
Were you directed at all? Because you did some very big hand flourishes, a lot of gesturing. Were you directed to do that? Or was that you with your theater background going, okay, I got to play to the back of the crowd?
There wasn't much direction other than, you know, giving me the vocals. And
okay.
I mean, he's got some very distinct mannerisms. Prowse did when he was in the costume. So,
in Return of the Jedi, we saw that Vader had a little bit of a sense of humor.
We shall double our efforts.
I hope so, Commander, for your sake. The Emperor is not as forgiving as I am.
And now Vader's saying, "Don't worry about getting my good sides. They're all good sides."
You are taking a picture of me. You have nothing to fear. All my sides are my best.
Yeah, I think Howard wrote that stuff, actually.
Oh, cool.
I did, speaking of Howard, he also had me do another character back in the day from Willow.
Oh.
You remember General Kale?
Oh, yeah, the one with the skull mask?
Yeah.
Yeah, played by Pat Roach in the film.
Was it? Yeah. I didn't know who played it in the film, but I did 2 or 3 appearances as him, which was fun.
Oh, okay. Like live appearances.
Yeah, mostly business stuff, you know, corporate gigs that Lucasfilm was hawking their wares with. I can't remember what. One was for Kraft, I think.
Oh, okay.
Kraft cheese?
Yeah, or Kraft products. I don't know which it was.
From live events, you now then went into some commercials, like this Nintendo NES commercial. And how long did it take to shoot one of these commercials?
Oh, the Nintendo or the NES commercial, I think, was 2-3 days.
Okay.
Almost all night long. That was a little rough. The Energizer Bunny commercial was probably a week, I think.
Yeah.
And that was a fun commercial just because they duplicated the carbon freezing.
Right.
Yeah. Did they use any parts of the original set, did they say? Or do you know if it was recreated?
I'm sure that parts of it were replicated or the same.
2 days before the commercial was going to be shot, I was working in creature special effects, and one of my friends there said, "Hey, yeah, they're going to be shooting this new Star Wars Energizer commercial, and they're looking for stormtroopers. Rich, do you want to be a stormtrooper?" It's like, you know what? I will drag myself to San Francisco using my tongue to be a stormtrooper. So within that same hour, they called back and said, "Yeah, we're not going to do stormtroopers for this commercial, just Darth Vader and the bunny."
It was actually at Paramount, which was fun to do, a shoot at Paramount Studios.
Yeah, I sat in a corner and cried pretty much the rest of the day.
Yeah, but the point is you guys could have met 25, 30 years sooner.
That was you. Like, who's that stormtrooper over there who won't leave everyone alone and chasing everyone around with a microphone?
Totally interjected.
Exactly.
Who's this guy who keeps talking about podcasting? What's a podcast?
Yeah. Who would have thought it? Yeah.
And I've seen different variations of this commercial. There's the 15-second, 30-second, and 60-second commercial. Was there anything shot that wasn't shown? Do you remember?
No, I think they pretty much used almost everything. They did several takes of everything, but they used almost everything that they took. The fun part of that was because it was so long as they got a, I don't know if it was Prop Guys or Don B's or who got it, but I wore like a racing car driver's unitard underneath that has the water pumping through it.
Oh.
So that was a lot nicer than, a performance in high heat somewhere. That gets to be a bit trying, but the commercial itself was fun. I'm trying to remember the guy who directed it did a couple films, nothing like Frank Oz, but yeah, his name escapes me right now. But I thought it turned out really well.
Such a memorable commercial. And I just want to know, like, that moment where you're holding the lightsaber and the battery dies.
And once again, we see that Darth Vader's got a sense of humor.
No, that's just me unscrewing it and then slamming it down. Yeah. We did 4 or 5 takes of that. From what I remember. Yeah. That was fun.
So when they first told you about this, they, hey, Tom, we want you to go up to the carbon freezing chamber and fight a bunny. You think, wait, are we doing a Monty Python crossover? What is this now?
Yeah, it sounds like it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, that the time, remember, Energizer Bunny commercials were famous.
Oh, absolutely.
Keeps on going and going.
So I thought that really worked well.
And now this time he's beating Darth Vader. So there was a little bit of hesitancy in the fan community. Like, hey, come on, this Energizer Bunny is not going to defeat Darth Vader. That's just not going to happen.
But his battery died.
Yeah.
What you going to do?
We understand that. And like Anakin, he's, gets really upset and can't control his anger.
And I actually have a lightsaber from Empire, and it is actually made out of a mag light flashlight.
Oh, nice. And it's from Empire?
Yeah.
Wow, well, there's your retirement package.
Was it a stunt saber? Was it?
It was a stunt saber.
Now, you had mentioned Frank Oz. Can you tell us about The Indian in the Cupboard, which was directed by Frank Oz and then produced also by Kathleen Kennedy and Frank Marshall? So were you directed by Frank Oz in the cupboard scene?
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about that scene? And you have all these fandom crossovers. You have Star Trek Ferengi and Cardassian warriors. You have Jurassic Park. You're like fighting a dinosaur. And even the music sounds very Jurassic Park.
I was actually fighting a grip with a bamboo pole and a tennis ball on the end of it. So.
Wait, that wasn't a real T-Rex?
Wait a minute. My mind is
Hollywood
broken.
is not real? Everything you see on screen?
But the fun part of that was that set was actually, 3 stories tall.
Oh.
So they had cranes, and they put us up in those little compartments in the cranes with the crane.
Wow. And you said that was directed by Frank Oz. What kind of direction did he give you?
He was basically just managing images, because there was, how many? 9 or so that are up there on the screen.
Yeah, RoboCop.
He choreographed out what everybody should be doing, and then there's a moment where I think they open the kid opens the door and everybody stops and looks out forward. I mean, if you know anything about film, unlike theater, I mean, everything's very cut up and very, put together after the fact. So it wasn't a lot of fluidity there. I mean, it was kind of, turn, do this, do that, and try not to pass out.
Right. That astounds me that it was a 3-story set. I would figure, like you said, everything's cut up. I would figure you just have little composites of each character, like in the scene. But that's cool to know that you were all doing it at once.
The funny thing is, after I came back, after I graduated college, I went back to Los Angeles, and I actually worked for Kathy and Frank at Amblin for 2 years on Back to the Future, The Goonies, Color Purple. So I've always had a connection with Kathy Kennedy and Frank, which has been kind of fun.
What did you do on those films?
I was a PA at Amblin, and those were the films in production when I was there.
Wow.
I didn't go on location, but like a lot of the Color Purple was shot at Universal in a sound stage, so I got to go watch a lot of that. The whole juke joint scenes and everything. That was all shot in the sound stage, which was fun to watch because, you kind of wonder what makes Spielberg. He's so good. For me, anyway, what I got out of that was how he set the stage and just everything was perfect. All the AC was off. It felt like you were in a juke joint in the bayou. I mean, it was, it felt like that. So I think he created the environment and then just let people take off.
Yeah, we go to Universal Studios quite often, and we go down to that Back to the Future clock tower set, being here where they shot this iconic film. It's a very spiritual moment.
Frank was the second unit director on the first Back to the Future. So I had to, be right on his hip and if he needed anything. And we shot, remember all those scenes out at the Twin Valley Mall?
Mm-hmm.
The terrorists, he shot all that stuff.
Oh, really?
That was some of the most excruciating nights. I mean, it just went all night long. And it was really cold, if I remember correctly.
Wow.
Trying to get that damn license plate to spin. It was an intense time. But it was fun now, especially now, years later.
Yeah. So if I'm understanding this correctly, all the stuff at the Twin Pines Mall was directed by Frank Marshall and not Robert Zemeckis?
Right. Yeah, that was all second unit stuff. At least when the characters weren't in it. Like,
okay.
When the car's chasing the van's chasing the car and all that.
Gotcha.
And the car hits speed and then it disappears and the license plate spins around. That was all.
Got it.
And then they did a lot of stuff out at the Disney Ranch when the car came in. He shot a lot of that himself.
Did you ever make any appearances in these films? Like, hey, we need one more person. Hey, Tom, grab your Vader helmet and go to the under the sea dance.
Darth Vader from Vulcan. Yeah.
You think of it being so unusual, but none of those people found it all that unusual. It was just film. It was movies, But it was a fun time. I've got great stories. I worked at Amblin, and I'll never forget they were doing Neverland, or just in the pre-shooting, casting and everything. And they just got Hoffman to do Hook.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And Michael Jackson wanted to be in that so bad. They said, Tom, go up and make a fire in Steven's office before he has this meeting. I walk in there, and I had an Indiana sweatshirt on, said Indiana on it. And there sits Michael Jackson. And I was like, hello, excuse me for barging in. He's just going to make a fire here real quick. And he saw my sweatshirt and he said, are you from Indiana? I said, yeah. And he ended up giving me a couple tickets to the Victory Tour. Remember that?
Yeah.
With his brothers.
Yeah, in 84.
Go to that. So it was fun. Yeah. A lot of fun stories over the years.
Wow. Now, when you say they wanted you to go in there and make a fire, what do you mean by that?
Well, he had a fireplace in his office.
Okay. That's
like,
that's a distraction or something?
One of those things like, hey, you got a phone call, it's the fire department, you're...
Oh, he has the coolest offices. Architectural Digest featured him one time. He had a framed letter from a lady who had seen E.T. It's in her handwriting, and said, I saw your movie E.T. I loved it so much. At the end, I was crying so hard I'd take my glasses off, and I ended up stepping on them. Could you reimburse me for my glasses? And he did.
That sounds more like a letter that you would read in 2025.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's always someone else's fault. Yeah, I've been to those offices up at Universal Studios, the Amblin offices, and wow, it's like a whole different state being in that compound.
And if you go up and knock on those rocks, they're all hollow.
Oh.
Yeah.
Once again, mind blown. Now the rocks aren't even real.
Why are they hollow?
It's just a set. I mean,
decor.
There's no big brown rocks there at Universal, And it's kind of got the Adobe New Mexico theme to the whole thing.
Okay, I see.
So you were living in Indiana, but then you'd come back to Los Angeles. So were you still in school when you were working at Amblin and working as Darth Vader?
No, I graduated by then.
Okay.
So when I first went out there and got the gig, then when they moved up north, I went back to school. And then once I graduated, I came back.
Okay.
And when you were doing some of your appearances, you were saying that you had the Vader costume in your dorm room. Did your friends know about this secret identity?
Some did, yeah.
And then how does that go into laundering a costume like that? Like, how do you go about doing that?
I don't think, when I was in LA, there was special leather dry cleaners, but I'm not sure I had done much when I was back then. Yeah. It was probably pretty ripe by the time I was done.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
that's what Bryce Elder would say. That
Yeah.
sometimes he would look at the costume and it's like, there's things growing in this leather. This is not right. So you have to put it in the bathtub of these hotels and carefully wash it. And ugh.
I mean, this was back in the day that they were doing everything with their licensees.
Oh.
I mean, licensees could be, soup to nuts. All the different Star Wars stuff that's out there. They were sending us all over the country to do stuff for licensees, which usually were, live appearances and signing autographs and taking pictures and stuff like that. I can remember one gig in, it was Denver or Colorado Springs, and they always had to have security because the crowds got pretty big back then when it was really popular. A guy came at me with a knife. And
when you were Darth Vader?
Yeah, I was in the costume. And these two cops stopped him from going any further. But it made me realize, I always thought it was a little overkill to have cops. I mean, it was nice for presentational purposes, but I never thought that again after that.
No.
Wow. I must have done every shopping mall between New York and Los Angeles over the years. Those were the really tough ones. I did a cover of Harper's Bazaar when Empire came out that Francesco Scavulo shot. Do you know that name?
No.
He shot every cover of Cosmopolitan. Look up a book called Scavulo's Women. Very famous black and white photographer during the whole Studio 54 days.
Okay.
Time. Bianca Jagger was a big muse of his. So anyway, I got to go to his studio and they shot the cover, and I've got a signed picture of me and Carrie back in that day. It was fun to look at.
That's awesome. So you're a cover model. And did you do print ads too?
That's what this was.
It was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So were you on the Rolling Stone magazine as well for Return of the Jedi?
I did a couple shoots for Rolling Stone. I'm not sure which one they ended up using and which one they didn't.
This is the one where there's Vader, there's Carrie Fisher, and her slave girl outfit is a Gamorrean guard and the Ewok.
On the beach.
On the beach, yeah. Was that you?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Wow. Such famous photos.
Oh my goodness. Once again, we're learning something new after 42 years.
I know, this is so cool.
I was in the getting a blood draw last week. The nurse doing the blood draw had all these Star Wars characters, a lot of Vader stuff over there. So I had to tell her, but I think she thought I was crazy. I don't think she believed a word I said.
Yeah, you're getting a little lightheaded, Mr. Bewley. Yes, I am Padme Amidala too.
Yeah, and here's a cookie.
Yes, and my sister over there, that's Princess Leia, and the receptionist was an Ewok. Okay, yeah. But put the blood back in Mr. Bewley. No, you can't afford to lose any.
You've taken too much.
So you said that you had worked with Carrie Fisher on another. You said you had a framed picture of you and Carrie Fisher.
That's from the Scavulo shoot for Harper's Bazaar that we did that.
Okay.
It's a big fashion magazine that the big PR that they were putting out at the time.
Of all your stuff that you've done, which is your favorite? Of just, let's say, the commercials and what's your favorite of the print ads?
Oh, the Scavulo was a highlight. And probably the Energizer Bunny commercial was a highlight. Indian was fun, but it was short and it was a little strange. But I still get residuals on that.
Wait, you're the only actor who still gets residuals.
I've got my quarterly check right here from Paramount for $7.38.
Does that cover the last 25 years?
I don't know. That's a large one. Usually they're $2.18.
Yeah, I've got residual checks that are 2 cents.
Yeah.
It's why bother even sending that?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
For Indian in the Cupboard, did they mix and match the characters? Did they have Darth Vader fighting the Ferengi? Then now you'll be fighting RoboCop, and they'll be fighting G.I. Joe.
No, that was all scripted out. Yeah.
I'm wondering if that was a Lucas versus Spielberg thing, Star Wars versus Jurassic Park.
I gotcha. Well, so Tom, so your career, you went out, you went to college and then you came out to LA as a PA. What was your career trajectory besides the Darth Vader appearances?
Like a lot of folks, I tried to get into the acting from a back door, if you will. I remember Mike Fenton became a really good friend, and they were casting Goonies, and they took me out in the courtyard to Amblin, and I did I want to say something from Henry V, maybe.
Oh.
A little screen test?
For the monster.
Okay.
I thought I was going to get that, but that never happened. And then after a couple of films, I left Amblin and did some stuff, independent stuff. And then you realize, I'm not going to eat off of this. This is not something I'm going to be able to do. That's when I got a job at Idlewild School of Music and the Arts up in California. I was head of their admissions office. And I did that for 8-9 years while I was still doing the Vader stuff. And then from there, I went to Interlochen Center for the Arts in Traverse City, Michigan, kind of the granddaddy of arts education, and was there for 12 years, 13 years.
Where I was actually there for one summer in the 90s. Yeah, it's a beautiful place. Great
Interlochen story. Oh. Everybody, I was still doing appearances then. They came running into the office and said, the real Darth Vader is out there. And indeed, James Earl Jones was touring the campus.
Wow.
And I ran out and I introduced myself. I had met him. He was doing a play called Master Harold and the Boys on Broadway that I saw when I was doing a Vader commercial, a Vader appearance in New York City. So I remembered that, and we talked, and he ended up signing, I don't know where it is, but he signed something, said, love and peace, and may the fourth be with you with Darth. I thought that was very cute. And so I got to meet him and talk a little bit with him. He's a very kind, very non-assuming man, even with that voice. But he's from Michigan. So that's why he was there. He was visiting family. And then after that, I got the gig at IU, and I've been here for 20 years before I retired.
Well, and what did you do at Indiana University?
Assistant dean for fundraising.
Yeah, hey, you know what? I can raise some money. I'll go put the Vader suit on. I can raise $1 or $2.
Yeah. I don't really talk about it very much unless I'm asked. My friends of mine will beg to differ, but they get sick of me telling all the stories, so yeah.
Well, you have amazing stories. My God, we're just sitting here transfixed.
Yeah, and we got to thank our friend Scott Carmichael for putting us in touch, because
he's at IU now.
Yeah, he's there now. And about a month ago, he said, "Hey, do you know this guy named Tom Bewley? Because it says on his LinkedIn page that he played Darth Vader. You might want to look him up." And I looked on your LinkedIn, and I can't get into LinkedIn. I'm not sure how. I just can't log on. And then I looked you up online. It's like, yeah, Indian in the cupboard, and you're in some chats where people are like, "Hey, whose autograph is this? I got this autograph, and I can't match it to anybody else." And someone said, "Oh, I think that belongs to a gentleman named Tom Bewley." So then I thought, "Oh, okay, maybe there is something here." And then that's when I reached out to you, and it went to an Indiana University email. So I thought, "Oh, he's never gonna see this." And like an hour later, he said, "Hey, that could be fun. I'll come on Skywalking through Neverland. Sure, I'll tell you my stories."
Yeah, there's been a lot of good times, good memories, and still good friends that I still keep in contact with. You might know the name Ian Bryce. You know that name?
Yeah, he was in production on Return of the Jedi, and now he's like producing these big giant A-list movies.
Yeah, big stuff. He and I are still friends, and that's been a great thing over the years. Is you make friends that stay with you all your life.
It's funny. I had interviewed with Ian Bryce for a movie called Cops and Robertsons back in like '93, but this is before the internet, so I couldn't look up anyone's name, and I didn't know who it was. And like 3 years later, I found out the guy I was interviewing with was Ian Bryce. It's like, "Oh, you were on Return of the Jedi. I don't want the movie anymore. I just want to talk to you. I want to hear all your stories."
Back in that day, he was, I think, just a PA on Return. And then, of course, he did Private Ryan, Saving Private Ryan.
Oh, yeah, he really elevated very, very quickly. And now you said earlier that you had had done some stuff for Willow for some personal appearances. That was 1988. Did you continue with Lucasfilm Amblin after that period there, or was it just right to?
We didn't do too much with Willow. Here's another funny story I'll tell you about. We did a premiere, maybe it was a wrap party on one of the piers in San Francisco for Willow. And friends of mine were dressed up in guard costumes, and we were all dressed up. Afterwards, probably had too many gin and tonics. We're driving back to San Rafael across the bridge, and I got pulled over. And I look up, and you could see San Quentin from where I gotten pulled over. And all these guys are in the car with us. The cop asked me what I'm doing out so late, and I told him, well, I worked for Lucasfilm. We did this premiere, and he ended up getting my autograph on a Darth Vader picture and letting me go. So to this day, I still talk about that with my friends that were in the car. That Lucasfilm saved us a trip to San Quentin.
So, do you have any more of those stories in your back pocket? Things like, hey, I haven't really told anyone about this in a while.
None that I should tell publicly, probably.
Bryce Elder had told me once that at some of these parties he had gone to as Darth Vader, he was hit on by a lot of women who made some propositions to come back to the hotel room, stay in the Vader suit, and I'll just do what I'm going to do. And he's like, oh, no, I'm not going to go down that path.
I'm not going to touch that.
Enough said.
All right.
I've been married for 40 years, so I don't want to jeopardize that.
Okay.
That's so funny.
Maybe at some point when we see you in person, you can kind of whisper in our ear. Now, do you ever do live appearances?
No, I'm just a normal guy in Bloomington now.
Well, if you ever need a couple of extra bucks in your back pocket, you will make a lot, because this is things that people have not heard of yet. People of the 90s generation, they know of that Energizer commercial.
Oh,
Nintendo, you can be the Nintendo Energizer Darth Vader. They would eat that up.
You think there's a market for that, dude?
There's a huge market. We do a lot of conventions, and there are people like, oh, so you were Stormtrooper number 4 in an ad in Guam?
There's guys doing that?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, there's people signing at conventions.
There's cosplayers signing. There's
very niche community.
Yes.
But, yeah,
and people love all the autographs. So, yes. You get some of those 8x10 stills of you fighting that Energizer Bunny. You will pay a lot of bills with that.
We were talking about live appearances and how scary those can be sometimes. One of the funniest ones was when we were in Tokyo. I was doing a live appearance in this big theater. I think it was like Nissan representatives or something. And they had the guy who did voiceover for Darth in Japanese, kind of like the Starlog convention.
Oh, okay.
He did the verbal, and I was supposed to act like I knew what he was saying, which I had no idea what he was saying. I'm sure it looked like a really bad B movie with my hands moving totally different than what I was saying in Japanese. I didn't really feel good about that, but then I walked back off stage and there was all these people, and one of the what's the famous sumo that was from Hawaii?
I don't think we do.
I mean, just a gigantic man, like 6'8", 500 pounds. And I walked up to him and he just tapped me on top of the helmet and said, "Good Darth." But I just remember feeling not nearly as powerful standing next to him for a picture.
Well, you know what? Keep that in your back pocket. Signing autographs is an option, I think, for you. Big time. Thanks so much for sharing all your stories. Once again, I'm glad we're finding another Darth Vader with all these rare, exclusive now stories.
Yeah.
Well, you're welcome, and I appreciate your interest. It's nice to talk to you and Sarah.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, I hope to meet you at an upcoming convention at some point. And until then, how would Darth Vader, when he's leaving an appearance, what would he say? What would he do? What would be his big gesture?
Oh, what would it be? Probably pull his gloves and flare the cape and, don't say anything to anybody. Right? Nobody was good enough.
Yeah, exactly. You're not worthy of me.
No. Well, I appreciate your interest, Richard. It was a fun conversation.
Okay, you ready?
And action.
Hello, I'm Howard Kazanjian, the producer of Return of the Jedi and Raiders of the Lost Ark, and I am skywalking through Neverland.
That wraps up episode 530 of
Skywalking Through Neverland.
We want to thank Tom Bewley and Scott Carmichael for telling us about Tom. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We go live every Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific, and we share things we've done in the past week. We invite you Skywalkers to come on and share something. And now we are doing trivia every single week, and we're also trying out different trivia programs, so you can be part of that process and pick out the best program, which we'll continue doing because we love doing trivia with you guys. And you can also find us on all socials at Skywalking Pod.
Now, are you interested in our books? Well, autographed copies of Today in Star Wars History, Part 1 and 2, and Skywalking Through My Fandom, the interactive notebook, are available at skywalkingthroughneverland.com/book. And we did a great job plugging the books this last weekend at Legacy Expo.
That's right.
Whenever you saw us, we're always holding Today in Star Wars History. We want all the fans to get a copy so they'll know what happens every single day of the real-life timeline.
Now, do you look forward to our conversations and our live streams every week and want to support that enjoyment? You can consider becoming a member of the Skywalking Force, which is our Patreon. And you guys have your own dedicated podcast feed that contains early access to many episodes. There are no ads in those episodes. And there's bonus content like entire John Williams Hollywood Bowl concerts, some discussions on Disney Plus shows like Agatha All Along, and you can head to skywalkingforce.com, have a look at the options available, and thank you so much to those of you who are already part of the Skywalking Force.
We also want to thank our sponsor, Small World Vacations, for their continued support. Thinking of a trip to a Disney park, a Disney cruise, or a Universal Studios theme park? Well, you can fill out a Get a Quote form at smallworldvacations.com today. Their vacation planning service is free of charge. So check them out and tell them Skywalking Through Neverland sent you.
And Richard, you were so excited about it. You did a Peter Brady.
When it's time to Small World Vacations, it's time to rearrange.
All right, Skywalkers.
I'm still going through puberty, okay?
Wow. Get ready, everybody. Get ready because we are part of the Skywalking Network. Skynet. Where you can find other great shows like Talking Apes,
Star Warsologies,
the Max Effects Podcast,
the Neverland Clubhouse,
Totally Tell Me Everything,
and the YouTube shows Collectopolis and Today in Star Wars History. And a Skywalker's Academy is telling us in the Sky Chat, Today in Star Wars History, Galaxy at War in 2009.
Whoa.
That was the MMNOP RG game.
Oh, okay. RPG?
Yeah, the M&M RPG game. All right, now don't forget to stick around for bloopers and other fun bits that didn't make it into the show. And
always remember.
Do you hyperventilate?
You didn't like my Darth Vader breathing?
I loved your Darth Vader breathing. It sounded great. I love everything you do.
End stream.
And Neverland on Alderaan.
So I'm going to need you to do your clappy claps. That was my tauntaun over here. I can't bring it over here.
Rabble.
Maria says we look fabulous.
Go like this. Do they bobble?
Yeah.
Hey, look at those names to the left. They are part of the Skywalking Force, our Patreon.
Become a producer yourself and check out all the Disney Plus themed bonus content available depending on the level you subscribe.
Become a member of the elite Skywalking Force at skywalkingforce.com.